where brevity is paramount.
Hello, welcome to episode 42 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton, with me as always Chet Roivas.
Whatnin?
So last proper episode of the year. Thank you very much for keeping up with us all year. Usual shit, 2 top 10 lists, games you've been playing the least. Number 10, game we've been playing the most. Number 1, Chet made me do this, so my list is wank, but let's do it anyway. Chet, number 10.
I don't know why I made you do it, because my list is probably more wank than yours. My number 10 is a game called Ovary Overload on the Xbox 360.
Oh my God. Oh, we've started off pretty well.
Yeah, it was the poster art, or whatever you call it, was a crayon drawing of an ovary and a load of sperms trying to get into it.
Right.
It's basically asteroids. You're
Okay.
the ovary, and you're shooting all these sperm that keep appearing, and some of them are harder than others, different colours. I mean, it's just, that's all it is. It's asteroid. It's actually, as it goes, not bad. It's once they get near you, there is a bit of a frenzy because they can start burrowing into you, and you can pull away. And yeah, but that's all it is. I mean, I played it to death. I was doing quite well, and I played it 3 times, and I still hadn't paid any money, so I don't think they've probably made very much from it. But it's actually not bad, and the music is wicked. It's like a trance anthem kind of rendered in chiptune. Brilliant, the music.
Actually makes me want to play it.
It's worth a look. The free trial for sure. It's actually, for what it is, it's not bad.
What's it called again?
Ovary Overload.
Nice.
Yeah.
My number 10 is a game called Blade Slinger on the iPhone, iOS. Really nicely put together, like third-person actioner. Really, really looks nice. Like, looks like a fucking Xbox game, really. Designed to be played on the iPhone as well, so most of it's controlled with one finger, or one hand I should say. So you move around by dragging, and then you can look around by putting 2 fingers on the thing, swipe the guys to hit them. It's all right, and it's one of those games that I think if you were just an iOS gamer, like so many people are, and you play this and you'd be blown away by it, but for people who are more console gamers, they would eventually go, okay, it's neat. It's neat that they did it and it looks great, but ultimately I'm going to go back to something a bit more substantial and easier to play on a console. But yeah, it was impressive. I've heard a bit about it, so I wanted to check it out.
Freebie?
It's 69p for the first episode. I don't know how long that episode is, so I didn't play it for that long. Okay. But I think the whole game is £1.50. But it's one of those games where you could go, look, show people, look what my fucking phone can do, you idiot. But everybody kind of knows what they can do now.
Yeah, true. Okay, what was it called?
Blade Slinger.
Blade Slinger.
Yeah.
Okay, right, maybe I'll have a look. Okay, my number 9 is The Bowling Dead.
Right.
It came up randomly at some point. It's made by the guys who made, I think it's Slant 6, who made Operation Raccoon City.
The worst.
The second worst game of the year. And it's actually very, very good. It's very familiar. You're looking down the street, zombies come towards you, and you flick bowling balls at them, and then you move to the left to another street, and you flick bowling balls at them. It works. It's quite cool. There's a neat, you can fling it up and hit them in the face if they come too close, or you can sort of pull it back and sling it for long shots and stuff. That's quite nice. There's all these. The longer you play it, you have to start buying these collectibles with in-game currency. And that's fine, but at first, I did the first chunk of it, 20 minutes or so, and then it said, do you want to buy these extras or something? Really? I mean, I had enough money anyway, but the longer you play it, you have to also buy standard bowling balls as you play. So your money, right, even if you do really well, your money keeps going down until you have to buy credits. So I was like, piss off. I felt terrible, actually. That was a realisation. I just thought that was really... I feel terribly bad because those guys have made the game free because they don't have much choice. They can't charge for it because everyone, why pay for something when you can get a load of cool stuff for free? And then they were like, yeah, do you want to try and help us out and pay for it? And I was like, fuck off, don't manipulate me, you shithead. And I stopped playing it. And I was like, we are a shitty generation of people, man. I mean, I may be just talking specifically about myself, but there's something so off-putting about weaving sort of transactions into it.
Oh yeah. Well, the flip side of it, obviously, is give them the first baggie for free and then they're hooked. I mean, I don't think that's ever going to be the case for The Walking Bowling Dead or whatever it's called. but it's all about straddling that balance, isn't it?
Yeah, I played enough of the game. I mean, it's a very good, very polished product. You'd never think it came from the creators of something that was so overwhelmingly shite. But yeah, although I sort of looked at myself and I was like, well, who the hell am I? I'm a complete schmuck. I enjoyed this game and I just was like, I'm not giving you any fucking money, so I'm a shithead. But then I think I'm not the only one, probably. But it's a good game. It's worth have a look at the trial. Maybe you'll be convinced to shell out a bit of dosh.
The Bowling Dead.
Yeah, it's really surprisingly good.
Yeah, I'm not going to play that.
Shame.
But nice to know it exists and you didn't just make it up in some sort of fever dream the other week.
Yeah.
My number 9 is Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, which was the thing that this fan has done, or something for the either 25th anniversary of Street Fighter or Mega Man. I don't know. Terrible as usual. Yeah, I don't like Mega Man. I never played it when I was a kid, so my own experiences of Mega Man are as an adult, and it's just really fucking annoying. Like really, really fucking annoying. Really hard in a shitty way. And yeah, I mean, you pick you pick your fucking guy. I assume that you're going to fight at the end, so I pick Ryu. He's my boy all time. But then it's just a Mega Man game, and I never got to Ryu because it was just way, way too annoying, and trying to play it on the keyboard was just a joke. So, and maybe it's good, but I don't like Mega Man. So
I never played Mega Man back in the day, but I played them when they came out on the Wii a little while ago. I thought they were really good, but like not hard in a bad way, hard in a properly challenging way. Is this free?
Yeah, it's a fan-made thing, so maybe the real Mega Mans are better designed, but it just fucked me off straight away.
So it is actually a Mega Man game. You're actually 2D.
Yeah, old school graphics.
Okay, I thought it was that they'd put him in a fighting game or something.
Yeah, it's all very confusing.
Yeah, okay. Well, if it's free, I might have a look. My number 8 is called Man in a Maze, which is an iOS game.
Why did you make me do a podcast this week?
I don't know. What did I say? Did I say I had loads of great shit?
I've got so much. I can't even. I can't fit it into 2 weeks, let alone one. You have to do it.
I must have at the last.
You must have been drunk, is what you were.
Yeah, this is actually a good game though. Man in a Maze, iOS. I don't know whether it's free. Actually, I think it's 69p, and it's really good.
What's it about?
Okay, well, I'll try and explain. It's basically Carry On meets The Running Man, or Hunger Games, maybe.
All right, I'm in.
Okay, it's there's something really endearing about the animation because all of the characters look like it's an incredibly obscure reference that I know you'll get, but probably no one else will. Who wants to beat up a millionaire on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, sweet.
All of the faces look like kind of bulbs, like those turnips in Mario 2.
Oh yeah,
weird shapes, and they don't look human. But in this case, it's quite charming. But it's basically you're dropped into a maze. It's this game show where you're dropped into a maze and you have to collect all the collectibles and then start firing these balls at things to change switches and stuff. It's very simple. The controls work. It's very nice, and there's just something very charming about it. The amount of effort that they go into, because there's, as I said, when you come out of a level, the guy's standing there on the podium and he's like, "Let's see what prize you've won," and you tap a thing and you get a random prize, and it's like a oven glove or something. But then they go to the trouble of saying, "And thank you very much from Acme Oven Gloves," and they invent this company. I'm like, why are they going to all this effort? They're saying, they tell you who made it, and thanks one more time to our friends at Acme Oven Gloves. I'm like, why? What's the fucking point? Put me back in the ring. But yeah, it's actually really, really good. Man in a Maze, surprisingly good, very polished for an iOS game. Just a disposable little thing, but yeah, good one.
That sounds all right. It sounds almost exactly like Who Wants to Beat Up a Millionaire, except with a different game in the middle.
And it's a much better. The game itself is 100 times better. The great as that was.
Yeah. All right. I was a bit harsh on that.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Middle Manager of Justice on iOS. Have you heard of this?
No.
This is the new Double Fine iOS game.
Oh right.
It's one of those management sims, like those. It's a bit like those Kairosoft games where basically you have a bunch of stuff that you need to do. You're a manager, and it's basically resource management, but you're running like a superhero firm. So you're a balding middle manager, and you hire your first superhero. Give him little tasks to do. He can work out. He can rest. He can do a few things. Then you send him out on to crimes, and they fight the criminals. You can interact with that by like telling them to do their special move or not, and then you get money for beating the criminals, And it's just all about developing a business, hire more superheroes, blah 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 blah. It's really nicely done. It's quite funny. The art style is great. Classic Double Fine stuff. But I felt like I was just being roped into playing something that was very boring. The second it brought up a to-do list, I was like, I do this all day with to-do lists. I don't need to play a video game that's about that. And it is just basically work, boring admin that has a nice art style, and all those games are. And they're not tricking me into playing that. But some people seem to like that. I don't want to do that on video games.
How? I presume it starts free.
It is free, and then in-app purchases didn't seem like they were too overbearing. There's two different currencies. There's one just coins, and there's another one, I think it's called Superium, that goes up a lot slower, and you use that to hire new heroes, and you can use small amounts of it to speed up the activities. So that's the stuff that you can buy. So it's all about whether you want to. It's how quickly you want to, you want to get new heroes. You want to do this, that. I'm sure some people will chuck a couple of quid its way. It's a nice game. There's nothing bad about it, and it didn't feel intrusive in that way.
Okay, there needs to be a new system, because this is just off-putting. Any kind of in-app purchases they put me off. I mean, maybe it's just me, but
they put me off too. But they seem to be working if people get them right.
Yeah, I guess so. It just I feel guilty when I enjoy a game as much as I enjoyed The Bowling Dead, for example. And then I just feel immediately like, oh, fuck off. Stop.
The only one that's ever worked for me was New Star Soccer.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was like, damn straight, I'll buy that game.
Well, hopefully there's someone like you for all of the games we've just mentioned.
Yeah, I'm sure this one will do well. They've got the fan base, and it's a nice game.
True that. Okay, my number 7 is Joe Danger 2, the movie, or Joe Danger the movie. The second Joe Danger. It's currently in a sale on Xbox Live for 400 Microsoft points.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, down from 1,200.
I have 400.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult one, because I'm playing it completely at the wrong time. I mean, I loved the first Joe Danger. I remember people were dissing this on Twitter, and I said, I really like Joe Danger. And they were like, what? How can you like Joe Danger? And I'm like, it's fucking Mario with Trials HD. What's not to like? But I tried the demo before I bought it. I was just going to buy it outright, which I probably should have done. But it's just the wrong time for me. It's as good looking and slick as the last one, and charming as well. But it's one of those games that it's not. I just want to romp. I just want to drive from A to B and then progress. But a couple of races in, it's like go back and find the collectibles, or go back and do that. And I don't want to grind. I just want to play a fun racing game. The first one was like it too, and I loved that. But I had a lot more time, and I've got such a limited amount of leisure time at the moment that it kind of left me a bit cold. And also the trial is a little bit halfway through a level. The level will stop, and a trailer will come up for the game. Right. And then you quit out of that, and then it kicks you back to the beginning of the level. I'm like, what? At least let me. And then I tried it again, and it did the same thing. It wouldn't let me play. Rather than stop at a natural juncture, it kept stopping me during gameplay, saying "buy me, buy me." I'm like, that was just a little bit irritating. It requires mastery and time. It's a slick and brilliant looking game, but I just don't have the time to play it. But at 400 points, you'd be nuts to pass it up.
Yeah, you reminded me of what I didn't like about the first one, was having to go back and grind and find collectibles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just kind of wanted another Trials, really. And if this one's like that as well, I just at this time of year.
That's what I mean.
With a bunch of games coming up soon as well in the new year. I've got a big list. My list. I'm actually working through my list, but my list is rammed. So adding another game on there just because it's 400 points would be potentially stupid. Yeah, but maybe I'll check the trial out.
I'm tempted to just pay the 400 points for it, just because there will be a time when I will be able to play it. But then I could spend those points on Rock Band songs,
Yeah.
But very good. I mean, it looked tremendous. I mean, I'm sure I have every confidence that it's a superb game.
Yeah, they're talented guys. Those guys, definitely.
Indeed, yeah.
My number 7 is a Shark Attack Deathmatch on Xbox Live Indie Games. I'd heard a few people talking about this. I think it was on Joypod, and I think another podcast I listened to. Have you heard of it?
No, I don't think I have. No.
It's a deathmatch game where I think there can be up to 4 divers underwater trying to harpoon each other, and in the arena, as it were, are giant great white sharks. So if you manage to harpoon someone and they start bleeding, then the sharks will go for them. Great idea. It's only 80 points. I just bought it outright because I wanted it to work. And there are people playing online, and it's pretty good fun. It's nice. I I'm really scared of sharks, so I knew it was going to affect me a little bit. And when one comes to you, you get a very Jaws-esque type, like crescendo, orchestral crescendo. That's nicely done. The production values are really up there. And if you get in a situation where you're playing it with mates and everyone's chatting over the headset, I reckon it would be really good fun. I was playing it with randoms, so eventually I just got a bit bored, and the way the sharks attack other people doesn't look very good, but it is only 80 points on indie games. It's a cool idea, and it's executed pretty well. It's slick.
Wow, and there was actually you jumped into like matchmaking.
Yeah, there was like 3 or 4 games going. This was at maybe 11 a.m. today, UK time. So yeah, there were 3 or 4 games. Jumped in, no issues, no lag. The deathmatch doesn't feel like anything else because obviously it's swimming and harpooning, and you can go up and knife people. I think there's like a sort of flashbang thing you can throw as well. And then you just have to be wary of the sharks. Like I say, if you play it with mates, I reckon you could have a right laugh for about a good hour or so, which is probably worth 80 points.
Yeah. Okay. I will have a look at that. Did you not? Were the other people you were playing with chatting? Could you hear them coming through?
I didn't stick the headset on. I was just playing it. I probably should have.
Yeah, just to find out what those kind of people are like.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure I'll have another as at some point.
Okay. I'm going to have to make a mental note and then probably forget it to play that at some point. My number 6 is Rayman Is it Rayman Legends, the new one, the demo that's just come onto the Wii U?
That's on my list a bit higher.
Okay. Well, I'll save it for then. It's really incredibly impressive. I think that they've Ubisoft have used the gamepad and understood the Wii U system better than even Nintendo have. When you compare this to Mario Brothers U, or whatever the fuck it's called, this is the ideas. I was like, wow, Nintendo didn't even do this in Mario. Just the fact that you are genuinely helping each other. You're not sitting, one of you's not sitting there tapping and creating blocks. You are, it just felt really sort of cooperative. One of us had a pad and one of us had the actual game.
Oh, you played a multiplayer, did you?
Yeah, me and a mate. Yeah, one of us was floating around and basically flicking switches for us and getting kills and stuff, and then I was platforming. It was really cool. He had to sort of move platforms for me and stuff, and it was just.
Okay. In single player, the other one's automatically controlled by the AI, so you're still using the pad to slash the ropes and move the platforms and whatnot.
Okay, and then you're helping someone along.
Yeah, the little green guy is moved by the computer.
Okay, was that fun?
Oh, it was really fun. I thought it was really cool. At first, I was just like, "Oh, it's a bit gimmicky," but literally 5 seconds later, I thought, "Oh no, this is a really kind of unusual idea that they've managed to put this." This doesn't. I was thinking, what are the Xbox and PS3 versions of this game going to be like? Because this seems almost entirely built for the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that gleaming level at the end where it's done to music. Did you play that one?
I thought there was only one.
No, it's 3 levels.
Oh fuck!
You need to fire it up and play one called Castle Rock. I'll talk about it in my little bit in a bit.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah, it looks amazing. I ever since the last Rayman, the last console Rayman, which was Origins.
Yes.
I've just they're really they're smashing it with those games. That was a really terrific game. This looks amazing. Great music. The music's always gets stuck in my head. But yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. But who knows how it's going to translate to the other platforms.
Yeah, it's going to be a strange one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like you say, we'll talk about the little bit more in a minute.
All right.
My number 6 is Black Knight Sword on Xbox 360, which is the Suda 51 grasshopper platformer, where everything looks like it's made out of cardboard. It looks a bit like Little Big Planet, but a kind of Suda 51 fucked up version of it. It's really, really weird, obviously, but it's weird. It's weird in its character designs and the world and the way the backgrounds change, like theatre sets. That instantly, all that's really cool. The fucking enemies are just bizarre, like weird heads that snot out fireballs with giant noses. They look like, the cartoons in Monty Python.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Terry Gilliam that does them.
That's right.
Yeah. They look like that. The whole game's kind of done in that style, but if that was made out of cardboard, just really fucking weird.
So kind of like those interludes in Shadows of the Damned.
Yeah, very similar, but darker, literally darker as well as thematically, and but the actual gameplay itself is very limited. It's like a very second-rate Amiga side scroller. Walk along, hit things, jump. I only played the trial. I was tempted because it's only 800, and I do like Suda because it ends at a boss battle. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to get a bit more interesting now. But yeah, I was like, I don't know at this time if I can put down 800 just for style. You know, I reckon I could probably bash through the game in a few hours, and I'd be happy that I did it. But yeah, it's just. I've played those games. I played them when I was a kid, and there were many, many better ones on the Amiga.
Yeah. That sounds. I had no idea those two collaborated again, and that there was a game on XBLA. Shit, I had no idea at all.
Yeah, it's got amazingly fucked up music from Akira Yamaoka as well. Just really discordant, fucking horrible noise, but in a brilliant way.
I have a feeling it's one of those things that I might potentially fall in love with. So I'll check. I assume that, of course, there's a trial.
Yeah, well, I did the trial. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, definitely.
It's very, very pseudo. I think it's done with digital reality. Because they teamed up for Cinemura, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Another one on the mental checklist. Done. Okay, my number 5 is Nintendo Land.
Me too.
Okay, a friend of mine just got a new Wii U, so I brought Nintendo Land round. It was the first game he played on it, and it's really cool because it does show off what the system can do. The reaction to it was quite weird. I mean, but then again, there was 5 of us in the room. Metroid Blast, I still think is the best part of the package by far. Went down like a fucking lead balloon.
Right.
Although we weren't playing it for very long. We'd been out on the piss. We came back from the pub, and we only played the whole thing for less than an hour. So it's too early to say. But on the showing that from what I saw, people were not responding to it well at all. But the Mario and the Luigi ones, the true multiplayer party games, went down a storm. And the Yoshi one was really popular as well. So, but the thing is, the more I played it, the fact that it doesn't even have any kind of online leaderboards, considering it's all a lot of it's score based. You can have local high scores and stuff, but there's no high scores over the internet, which is just, I mean, ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that does suck.
That's just ancient. I mean, even the 3DS can do stuff like that, and they're completely baffling that. And by the end of it, I still think it's a really, really excellent package. But I did come away this time thinking, man, they should have found a way to package it for free, because it doesn't. I don't know if I'd be so enthusiastic if I paid £50 for it.
Yeah, well, I basically have 40, but yeah. As I said last week, or maybe the week before, I'm not really judging it on now because I'm going to see family over the Christmas break, and we'll play it properly then. I put it on in the week just to check it out. Really, I did the Donkey Kong 2D game where you roll a thing. That was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Kind of tricky. Yeah, I like that. Did the F-Zero game, which I kind of thought was bullshit.
Yeah.
And then a train comes.
Oh, that's wicked. That.
Yeah, and my kid all he gives a shit about in the world is trains. So the second he saw that, he was just like, no, you're not going in any games, you're not doing anything, you're just following this train, motherfucker. And then I had to turn it off because he started crying. So that was my Nintendo Land experience. You
had to turn it off because he started crying, or he started crying because you turned it off?
No, he started crying because I wouldn't just follow the train around that little area, because all he wanted to do is me to just walk around next to the train.
Okay. And
the second I didn't, he started squawking.
So you only played. You didn't try the.
I did Zelda as well.
Zelda?
Which, Zelda.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. It was nice, but I was just like, I need to be playing with other people.
Yeah. To be honest, that's like Metroid in that one of you plays with the Wiimote and nunchuck with the sword, and then one of you holds back and uses bow and arrow. That's actually very good as well. I haven't said as much about it, but that's very cool as well. But yeah, if you've got people playing together, it's a real winner.
Yeah, I'll be on an early podcast next year. My final opins.
All right, genuine. Right, so that was my 5.
Also.
Oh, was your 5 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 4 is Battlefield 3 Aftermath. You haven't played much of it, have you?
I played, quite a lot, but I had to do it during the day when you guys weren't around.
Yeah, it's just it's freer. It feels like DICE were less constricted. They didn't feel the need to sort of break the formula, as I said last week. It's just the more I play it, the more we're falling back head over heels in love with Battlefield, and I hope the final map pack delivers. But I've got a friend of mine. I was just speaking to him today, and I was like, why haven't you been playing on Battlefield? And he hated Armored Kill so much that he was kind of done with it. He paid for premium, and he wasn't even going to check out Aftermath. But we're going to play on the weekend, and he'll see the light. Even the extra game mode is fun. It's still Battlefield, and we've been playing that quite a bit. In its own right, it's genuinely great. But yeah, that's a Armored Kill, I liked it, but I say that, but we haven't really played it that much since it came out. Whereas this, I'm just like, I can't wait to get back on it. It's great. They've done themselves. It's the best map pack by quite a distance, I reckon.
Yeah, it kind of. Eventually, the idea of them doing specific, almost semi-expansions was cool, but ultimately, people just want that core experience, don't they?
Yeah,
and
indeed.
To be able to have that again, I totally agree with basically every single word that you say.
Yeah, it's genuine, and the maps are just superbly well designed as usual.
So my number 4 was Rayman Legends, the demo. The third level you can do is called Castle Rock. I don't know if there was any levels like this in Origins, but it's like an always running. What do you call them? Like, you're always running.
Yeah.
Like an iOS game, but you have to control the running.
Yeah. And
the whole thing's done to a Rayman version of, I think the song's called Black Betty. The bam ba dam ba dam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But and everything that you do, every jump, every hit is plays an instrument sound at the same time. So you're basically playing the song like a rhythm action game as you're platforming. It's fucking amazing. You're just like as you're hitting enemies, and you jump, and it'll be a little guitar hit, and you just get sucked into it completely. And then, mate, just put it on when we finish the podcast. Honestly,
that sounds absolutely superb.
It's fucking gleaming. I like the first 2 levels. I was like, this is really nice, and I played that, and I was like, fucking get in! I need this game immediately.
When's it out? Isn't it? It was supposed to be a launch game.
Yeah, I think early next year. I think.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, I'm sold because I really did enjoy the last one, but that sounds superb. I'm gonna, I'll re-download the demo and check that out.
Yeah, it's banging.
Okay, nice one. Okay, my number 3 is Under Defeat HD.
Oh, you stepped up and played some more.
Oh yeah, I was always going to because it is very good. It's a little bit too slow for me. I mean the movement of your ship. I'm so accustomed to cave shooters where they've got that kind of slippery. You can be a millimeters away from a bullet and then just weave your way around it. But it's very, very lethargic, and you have to sort of anticipate a lot of what's coming. It's still very, very good. I'm putting it alongside, cave shooters that I hold in such high regard, and I don't think this quite measures up. I think it's very good, as I said, but I don't think it's probably not a classic. There's some nice systems in it. I mean, the whole idea of you sort of, there's a 45, 50 degree angle that you can tilt your ship. So you can be facing just straight upwards, or you can tilt it slightly to the right or slightly to the left and leave it pointing in that direction. So there are cool moments when you have to just keep flipping between them. And you do that by moving. So while you're trying to change trajectory, you're also trying to avoid loads of bullets and stuff. It's ridiculously difficult, even on easy. And I have to say, I'm a bit pissed off about how they're doing. Any shooter, I want to see all of it at some point. If it's as hard as this one, I don't think. I mean, I will if I persevere with it, but who's got the fucking time? But the whole infinite credits mode, which in cave games is normally unlocked after a couple of hours. I read somewhere that I'm not sure this is gospel, but I read on actually a couple of places that you have to play arcade mode for 7 hours and then play the other mode, which is sort of the high def expanded version, for 7 hours as well.
Oh, fuck that.
And I'm like, I kind of want to see the entirety of this game. Don't make me fucking grind for 14 hours. I'm not. That's ridiculous.
You bought it. You fucking just do it.
That's what I mean. But that was infuriating as well, because I don't know whether I'll be able to put that much time into it, because it is only a shooter at the end of the day. But albeit a very good one. It's just, there's too many better shooters out there at the moment. Well, just on my shelf that I still haven't given enough time to. It's very good, but I don't think it's a classic.
Yeah. Like I said, I played it briefly, but I couldn't remember much about it, apart from the fact I had a helicopter in it and it was too hard for me, as they always are.
Yeah. Well, it's really fucking hard.
Yeah. Number 3 for me is Mario U. I don't know what it's called either.
Yeah.
Fucking Mario. Done quite a lot more. It's so good. It keeps getting better. I fucking still continuing to turn the thing off and not saving it. So I would probably finished it by now if I hadn't kept doing that. But playing on, I think I'm on probably the second to last or last world now. And gone back and done a few coins. Really getting that Super Mario World vibe now. Like really clever levels, one after another after another. The Van Gogh level is just fucking superb. And it's really fucking tricky. All about intricate jumping levels. That's what I've always been about ever since Mario World. No other platformer does it like that. And the whole Mario versus Sonic argument is old as the hills and pointless. But I could never understand how anyone could compare them, because they felt almost like completely different games. But when you're doing that high-level, intricate jumping mixed with almost free-running feeling in Mario, you still can't beat it. However many years on, you still cannot beat that shit.
Yeah. I still think it's an excellent one. It is funny, though, because, I mean, you sat out on the less special ones. So you can beat it, especially there were some real lulls in the Wii one especially, and the last 3DS one was very good, but again it didn't hit the peaks that the Wii U one does. It's tremendous. I hope everyone who gets a Wii U has a look at it, because it's not just, if you've played one of the lesser 2D Mario games, this is up there with some of the older ones for sure.
Yeah, it's not as good as Mario World, I've decided.
No, it's not.
Because partly because some of the levels in that game were just absurdly good, but also that game was really funny all the way through, and just every single bit of it, the design, the music, it's constantly funny, and it kind of shaped the way that I find things funny, because I must have played it when I was about 9. Real like daft, nonsensical humour that's kind of given birth to stuff like Adventure Time and other people similar age to me. This isn't very funny. I don't like the way the little Koopas sing along to the music. That fucking irritates me. I hate that noise. And just like some of the fucking flying gopher things. They've got fat, annoying faces. That side of it, it isn't as funny as I'd like. But
you're getting old, son.
Maybe. Well,
maybe.
I knew that.
You're in denial, boy. I never found Mario World funny, and neither did I this. But I thought I liked the little guy.
You find Mario World funny?
Not that I recall.
Just constantly hilarious.
That's you're a strange breed.
Yeah, you knew that though.
True that. Okay, my number 2 is Mirror's Edge on the Xbox 360.
No way.
I fancied it for a long time. All this talk of a sequel, I was itching to play it. I borrowed a copy and I went back in. It has aged fantastically well. Admittedly, it's only 5 years old, but it still feels so good, and I really do hope that they come back with a sequel to it. I played on hard, which I thought would be a real pain in the neck, but it's not. It just means that less of the sort of pathways are highlighted. It's well designed enough for it to work like that. I mean, there have been I played it for several hours, and there have been so many moments where you burst through a door and the music surges and you've got to get away quickly, and you're just presented with all these rooftops, and the frenzy of trying to find that stuff is really exciting. I think it's, although I don't think you probably could play it if you hadn't done it on normal already. It's almost twice the game on hard. I'm enjoying it so much. It's so truly exciting, and it still feels fresh. Nothing really looks like that still. Nothing feels like it. It's I had so many problems when it started, because it just towards the final third, I thought it was the first 2/3 of it were about as good as a game can get, and then the final third, when it became really reliant on there is an achievement, for example, that not to shoot anyone throughout the whole game, but they make it so difficult.
Yeah.
Towards the end, it's just like you want this to be a first-person shooter, and it's frankly a pretty shit one. But now that I'm sort of going for that, I'm going to give that a whack. It just forces you to strategize a bit more. I still think that the final third of the game's weak in comparison to the first, but I think more of it than I did back then, which was I thought it was great back then. It's just fucking great. I hope they bring out a second one, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of born from that era of the early 360-ish years, where it just felt like new games were coming out of everywhere. There was always a new idea to look forward to. Dead Space, Mirror's Edge, a bunch of new other games like that. You don't really get that feeling at the moment. This classic end of console cycle and all that bollocks. But Yeah, it just felt like there was all these exciting ideas coming out, and that I really enjoyed Mirror's Edge. It wasn't a perfect game, as you say, and there were definite things wrong with it. But I'm always of the opinion that I'd rather take a flawed gem than polished, boring game that has nothing technically wrong with it.
Yeah. No, I felt that way back then, but even more so now. Something about trying it on hard. If you did it on normal once upon a time and you've had the urge to go back and you see it for a couple of quid, do it on hard. It's an all new game. I
might have a little look actually. If it's in CEX for under a $5, I might snap it up. I'm quite tempted to play it again.
It really is. I'm overwhelmed by how much. I think it's better than I gave it credit for initially. So it's pure gleam.
That was your what?
Number two. Yeah.
Mine 2 is Far Cry 3. I've just been fucking about, to be honest.
Yeah.
I could just play that. I honestly think I could just play that game forever.
Me too.
The story missions, some of them I can take or leave. I still haven't finished the story. I know there's a lot of interviews that come out with the writers saying people have got it wrong. I'll be very interested to read all that stuff when I have finished the story, because I got to a certain level on debug and I started again. That's the reason. So. I can't bother to do some of the stuff in the temples and things that I found a bit boring. But just doing the fucking bulletin board missions and the camp liberations every single day. I could honestly, like I said, I could just play it forever. I'd never get bored. There's always a new idea. There's always a new set of circumstances gets thrown up. And while I do miss a couple of little bits from Far Cry 2, the more I play 3, it's so much slicker that it's not fucking me off in the same way that 2 often did.
Yeah. Well, it's my number 1, so I might as well talk about it now. Right. I finished the story. I think the game is a masterpiece. Although towards the end, I started to the foundation started to tremble a little bit, and for a game that didn't, it just completely. It was not disappointing. It didn't. The tone never faltered. There's one bit where I just went, "Oh no!" There's a very, very effective quick time event sequence where. It's really, really quite nasty and grisly and unpleasant. I don't know if you've done it yet.
No.
But it's the whole point of that sequence. It's not exactly Shakespeare, but it's supposed to be illustrating just how far you've sort of gone.
Right.
And it was a really, really effective, really ballsy set piece. And then you walk outside, you look at your hands, and the lead character goes, "What have I become?" And I thought, no, don't do that, you hammy bastard.
There was a bit of hamminess all the way through, I thought.
Really?
I didn't like it when he talked. I didn't mind him talking I didn't mind him a bit having a character with a voice, but a lot of the times when he'd react to stuff that was happening, he got a bit Nathan Drake for a bit, and that sounds like a few times I felt like when I was playing through the vast majority of the story anyway, he would say something and I'm like, it didn't need to be said, dude. It didn't need to be said. It was all there nicely, and you've just put a layer of pointlessness on it, of noise, and slightly frustrating.
Yeah, to be honest,
nitpicking.
It is nitpicking, and I'll definitely say that. But that's the first time I mentioned it, and there was a dud mission really leading up to the finale, and I was like, oh no, God! And then there was a fucking absolutely cracking sort of the penultimate mission was absolutely superb, but then the ending. There's a choice involved, and the choice that I picked was the flattest, limpest, the most disappointing ending of a game I can have. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting, to be fair, and I need time. This only happened the other day, so I need time to actually process it. But I just thought, was that it? After all that amazing stuff, and then that's it. And I'm curious because I want to know if the other ending is the same. Of the same sort of brevity and sort of because it just kind of stops, and I was like, "What?" And if the other ending is more substantial, why make it a choice? It left me completely stumped, to be honest. But again, it is a masterpiece. I have a couple of problems with it, but they really are truly minor. I tried some multiplayer. Did you look at that?
I still haven't had a chance.
It's Battlefield crossed with Call of Duty. Right. That's it. It's Battlefield with kill streaks and perks and stuff like that. It's fine, but why would you?
Yeah.
And then co-op. We did the co-op campaign is probably about 6-7 hours long, maybe 5. Me and a mate did it, and it's dog shit basically.
Right.
I feel bad having a go at them because at least they included it. It's nice to have a package that vast, but it's a joyless, cheap-looking, unchallenging, unmemorable it's crap. You're these 4 characters, 3 guys and a black woman, and you make your way from A to B, and then they say fix the car or protect this. I mean, it's rote. It's completely no imagination. It's like they knocked it up in a weekend. I'm grateful that they felt, but did that detract from the campaign? Who knows? So yeah, it's kind of not worth doing, I'd say. It's
yeah, it's tough though, isn't it? Because having all that on the box quite often is just about that.
Yeah,
those modes.
I mean, there's been some forgettable co-op modes added on. I mean, when I think about it, Syndicate was a great one, but then there was the Darkness 2, I forgot, had one that was completely disposable, and there have been several where they've just chucked them in there just to be there. And this is actually, I think this is the least impressive of
Really?
all. I mean, we did it, we played it, it works, but it was just like you're just walking along an endless corridor to an objective that you've either got to touch a button or protect something for a little while. I mean, and the characters, like there's a Scottish football hooligan and an American guy in a cowboy hat, and it's just like, and the ending is hilarious. I say hilarious, it's kind of like we were just flabbergasted because if I thought the campaign just stopped, the fucking co-op campaign. It ends with a cutscene that lasts about 4 seconds. You know,
really?
After all those hours, nothing. They even purported to have a story. They didn't need a story, and the story was crap. But it was there. Yeah. So I mean, weak. But everything else is great.
So yeah, doesn't matter though, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, the campaign's worth the price of admission twice over.
Too right. Yeah, I'll that's the next game that I'm endeavouring to actually finally get through the story part. But I just get so sucked in. I'm sure that's the point. It's nice.
Yeah.
My number one is Dishonored. Talking of games that end abruptly, Dishonored does as well. In fact, when you were describing the Far Cry 3 ending just then, I actually for a split second thought you were talking about Dishonored because it's almost exactly the same. But again, like Far Cry 3, the game is a masterpiece. I've seen some people say that it gets to a point and then starts to tail off. Not for me, actually. It actually only dipped a little bit in the middle for me. I thought they got too overambitious with the party. Chose bizarrely, and I've actually read about it. I'll talk about it in a minute. They chose to kind of tell you exactly what to do by talking to a couple of characters, and then no other point in the game are they that prescriptive or explicit in how you should do things, and it was really disappointing. And then there's actually a bit where they're saying they didn't have any of that stuff in, and playtesters were baffled, so they put it in, and some of the writers were just like, oh, kind of wish we hadn't. And I can see that, because after that party I was like, maybe Dishonored isn't as good as I thought it was, because that was actually quite shit. And then it just picks back up again. The story's okay, it's fine, you can follow it, but it's nothing particularly special. It just kind of, is a reason for the action to exist. But the action, it's so fucking good. The game. I mean, I could talk for hours about the design. The game starts off, and the way it's designed is to encourage you, I think, almost implicitly, to be very stealthy, because you're not as powerful. The way that the guards patrol, the way the spacing of the levels, everything as you go through. The combination of the story and the fact you're getting a lot more powerful, and the way the levels are designed, encourages you subtly, and not, doesn't make you, but just encourages you to start being a fucking badass. And by the last couple of levels, I was just fucking everyone up. Still stealthy, but way nastier. And just kind of ploughed through to the end in just a few hours of this utter gleam. And then, the ending was a bit abrupt, but I immediately restarted the game on hard with the intention of being the nastiest bastard in the history of fucking Portsmouth, or wherever that game's set. I'm now already within the first level. I crossbowed a guy's head off, and then used that severed head to distract another guy, then stuck a knife through his face. It's not very nice talking about that stuff, but that's what I'd endeavoured to do. The game supports that play style beautifully. I'm going to have a lot more hand-to-hand in this playthrough. Really just fucking with guards. Just want to kill everyone in the game. And it's going to support that. There's the temptation to do the non-lethal run is there. I know there's a lot more game to see in that way, but I ain't got time to do that.
Yeah. Dishonored is good enough that I think I might have a crack at that at some point. It's a game I still haven't finished. I spent so many. It's like Far Cry. I've had Far Cry. I've had a lot of time with Far Cry, but Dishonored, I played it for hours and hours and realised that I hadn't really progressed that far.
Yeah.
So that's something that's the top of my to-do list, actually, to get that finished. But I still think it's an absolutely incredible game.
Yeah, the more I played it and just started thinking about it afterwards, and just like there's so much in here that's so clever. And then I've read a few articles of stuff that's come out about the heart, the heart that you find the runes within the world.
Yeah.
How that talks to you, and it's actually like the voice of the Empress that gets killed at the beginning. That's not a story spoiler. And the way that the runes are set out are to sort of completely direct you towards other routes. So even gamers who are, your classic FPS style gamer, they've managed to build a way to make you play the way that they want you to play, without ever forcing you or telling you, just through design. It's mind blowing that design can get to that level.
Yeah. No, a hell of a game. I can't wait to finish it. It's up there, boy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going back through it again. I can't remember ever jumping straight back in and just sticking it on hard and going back through again. But yeah, I'm doing it with Dishonored.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, that's us done. Thank you very much for sitting there and listening to us tread fucking water shamelessly. But this is our last official episode. We've got 2 Christmas specials coming next week, and then the week after we've got the 10 best games of the year, or the 20, I should say. And then we've got the 20... What was it? Most underrated. That's it. The most underrated games of the year gone past. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. Check out all the usual shit: the website, the Facebook, the Twitter, all the usual shizzle. Thanks for listening.
Yep. FinitePlaylist.com, at John Denton, at Chet Roivas, Facebook, Finite Playlist, Twitter, fucking YouTube. Do it.
Ciao.
Can't you see I'm about to bathe?